All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another Gridiron Expert live stream, and welcome back to the GE Nation. Super pumped to have all of you here for a very, very exciting live stream because we have a lot to cover, right? A lot to cover. I hope you guys all had a fantastic weekend, a long weekend. Obviously, had the holiday yesterday, so hope you guys got to rest, got to watch all the games, got to eat some good food. And are now gearing up for the rest of the work week. Obviously, that's the downfall, right? But hey, it's a short week, 4 days, and then we got another college football Saturday, which it's going to be really hard to top this last weekend. This last college football Saturday was truly unbelievable. So we have a lot to talk about. We're going to recap some of the games that we didn't talk about in our recap video. We're going to take your questions, your comments, discuss some of the games with you. We are going to break down the new AP rankings that just came out a couple hours ago, early this afternoon. And we have some issues with them. Today we put out our GE rankings, which we'll talk about, but we're going to break down the AP poll as well and show you where they screwed up, where the Associated Press once again, I think, made a mockery of themselves and a mockery of the sport. So, a lot to cover, a lot to break down here for the next hour, hour and a half, however long we choose to be here. But do want to get some shout outs. Welcome back, everybody. Scotty B. Obviously, yes, rest in peace to Guy Morris. Obviously, Scott was one of the first people to break that news to me in our Discord earlier this morning. But definitely hate to lose someone like that. Obviously, someone very important to the game. So thank you, Scott. Robert Sharpton, good to see you. Week 2, here we go. Fantastic weekend. Go Dogs, had a heck of a game. Monster Jam's finest, always good to have you, along with Austin Pruitt, SBO Kennels. Always love having you guys here. Flo, always here. James Shannon, Hunter, just joined the chat. All of you guys, super pumped to have you with us tonight. Definitely looking forward to talking some ball with you. Real quick, the answer to our trivia question. A couple answers here from everybody. Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Ohio State, guys like that. So actually, Notre Dame, SBO Kendall says, none of those, actually. Not your traditional powers. The number two team was TCU, believe it or not. The Horned Frogs of TCU. Number 3, and I'm sure if CCD hops on here at some point, he'll be thrilled to hear this, is Maryland, believe it or not. Again, we're talking about all time here. Clemson has won 34 straight games as a top 5 team against unranked opponents. Some will say, how did TCU manage that? Well, let's keep in mind, back 2008, 2009, 2010, before they joined the Big 12, TCU was a big-time power in the Mountain West. And they were rarely losing when they were a top 5 team. This is a TCU team that made the Rose Bowl, made the Fiesta Bowl, guys like that. So TCU and Maryland are 2 and 3 behind Clemson when it comes to that streak. And again, it's not current. It's just all time. So Clemson has won 34 straight. I'm pretty sure TCU's streak ended around 29, I think. I think Maryland's was somewhere around 27, 25, something like that. But yeah, pretty wild stuff. So hey, now you know, learn something new every day. We'll see how long Clemson's streak can continue. Caleb, nice to see you. Oklahoma State had a bit of a letdown on defense. How Penn State will fare against them in week 4. We'll talk on that a little bit. Eddie, good to see you. Big 12 matchup, Missouri and Kansas State. That's actually going to be a game that we're really excited to talk about here on the live streams going forward. And then XP World. Do I have Baylor winning? I don't know yet. We've got my calendar over here. We are putting out a Baylor BYU video on Thursday. So in 2 nights, around 6 p.m. Central Time on Thursday, we will have our deep, in-depth analysis on Baylor and BYU, one of the top games of Week 2, and you'll know if we have Baylor or BYU winning that game. So excited to get that out there. So again, everybody, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're pumped to have you. Super pumped to see you guys on here. We're excited to take your questions. We're excited to take your comments. We're excited to touch on the rankings and everything else that we have kind of laid out for us right here. But before we get started, I just want to, again, do these plugs that we'll probably do a couple times throughout the chat, throughout the night. Do want to get a couple plugs out there. First off, again, guys, the Super Chat is always on. That obviously benefits us big time. We've had some great live streams through the Super Chat over these last few weeks. And it helps us tremendously. As we always tell you, everything we get from a Super Chat, when we get that little check from YouTube, we toss it right back into our channel, and hopefully that'll lead to better setups and better backgrounds and graphics and things like that. So the more we get from that, the better. Obviously, we have the expert picks, which is never too late to sign up for those. A lot of people, they come to me and they go, I didn't sign up in time. At the season start, I can't sign up. No, it's not true. Not true. These expert picks guys, they are a year-long subscription. They're a year-long package. So if you buy now, you get it all the way through next year. You buy in week 1, you get it through week 1 of next season. You get all these packages for an entire year, which is really beneficial because, guys, again, we've beat out over 80% of the national analysts each of the last 4 years. We're going to do it again this year. We can guarantee you that. We've already hit over 60% of our bets in week 0 and week 1. So we're also at a very fast and strong start so far this season. Again, it's a year long. You get tons of exclusive content. Obviously, those picks, that analysis, exclusive access to me on the Discord. We have a specific channel just for those that have purchased those picks. And again, you win money. Who doesn't want to win some money? You pay $60 for our combo package. You'll make that back within probably the week. Probably that one Saturday, you'll make that back. So we'd love for you guys to join that again. We have a goal of 100 sales of the expert picks this year. We are slowly on our way towards that goal. We've made quite a bit this year. But we have something very special in store for you guys if we can reach 100. So spread the word, do it yourself, however you need to do it. Help us get to that 100 mark. Because if it does, then we're going to have some big explosions. Not literally, but we're going to have some big things happening here on the channel. Last thing, too, before we get going, we are close, guys, to 10,000 subscribers. 10,000 subscribers. We were about 70 subscribers away from reaching that mark. And if you remember, if you were here on the stream last week, we said if we can reach 10, we're going to have a celebration regardless, right? But we think we can reach 10,000 subscribers by Saturday, before the start of week 2. So if we can reach 10,000 subscribers, we're going to have a big 10,000 celebration right here on the channel, big 10K live stream special. Sure, we're going to talk ball, but we're going to celebrate the accomplishments from over these last few years and everything you guys have done to help us get to that point. So again, just to recap, we'll probably do it a couple times. 10,000, help us get there. 70 away. We can have that by Saturday with your help. Help us out with the expert picks. Again, that goes a long way. Year-long subscription. Again, over 60% of our bets we have hit each of the last 2 weeks. We beat out over 80% of the national analysts every single year. And then, of course, the super chats are always on, and that goes a long way too. So you're like, I don't want to bet. I don't want to do the expert picks. Help us out. Do a super chat. If you don't want to buy the expert picks, fine. Do a super chat. It helps us out big time across the board. And again, as we always say, $1 to $5 per person. That stuff adds up. That stuff adds up and goes a long, long way in terms of throwing it back in the channel. Stephen Cuffey, good to see you. Happy to have you here. Great analysis over the weekend. Was happy to have you in the comment section, a couple videos. So thanks for being here tonight. Flobe, another Bryce Young performance on Saturday against Texas. I don't know. We have a Texas video coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we will have a Texas-Alabama video before we do another nightly live stream. We'll be back here at 7 o'clock tomorrow for another live stream. But, Bryce Young hadn't missed a beat, man. One of the best quarterbacks in the nation still. Talk is Pitt. What's going on? Good to see you, man. Big game Saturday. Number 24, Tennessee. Number 17, Pittsburgh. Going to be one of our games of the week. We're going to have a video on that look at my calendar again, on Thursday as well. Got so many videos we're cranking out for you guys. So that's going to be on Thursday for Pittsburgh and Tennessee. My man Dave, how's it going? It's good talking to you this weekend. Good to have you on the chat. Super pumped. Always happy when Dave's here, man. I'll tell you what, this guy knows his football. He knows his stuff. And I agree, the best game of the week, ironically, is going to be Baylor BYU. College game day. Went to Austin for a game that's probably going to be over at halftime between Alabama and Texas. But we've got a top 25 matchup. Number 9 versus number 21, and Baylor and BYU in game they didn't even go there. So very odd. Very odd, but, they each their own. Obviously, the brands of Alabama and Texas, I guess outweighed a quality matchup. But, yes, that's going to probably be the game of the week. And we have that Baylor-BYU video, again, coming out on Thursday. Who was that right there? Sorry, I missed somebody. Derwake, Wreckham, Texas Tech. We're going to beat Houston by 21, just like last year. Houston has beaten Texas Tech once in 30 years. You know what? We're going to break down that game a little bit tomorrow with our Week 2 prediction video. The 5 underrated games. Houston, Texas Tech is one of them. But I'll tell you right now, I'm leaning towards Texas Tech. I am. Beat them by 17 last year. Was it 38-21? Feel pretty good about Texas Tech beating Houston again because they did not look good against UTSA. I love it. Talk is Pitt. He's going to be at the Pittsburgh, Tennessee game. I love it. That's going to be a heck of an atmosphere, heck of a game. I'm very excited to watch that one. But Dave says, not so fast. The Vols are going to dominate. So excited to see, obviously, two great quarterbacks going at it and very high scoring. Might even take the over in that game. We'll see. Dr. C. Arkansas plays South Carolina Saturday. Would you say that Cincy is a tougher team than South Carolina? 100% yes. 100% yes. And that's an interesting, good question. I think it's interesting when you look at the spread for that game. The odds makers are basically saying that South Carolina is only about a point or two worse than Cincinnati. Arkansas was favored by about 6.5, 7 points when they played Cincinnati. Arkansas did cover that game if you got them in at 6.5. It was a push if you got them at 7. But they're basically, right now the spread's around 8, 8.5, somewhere around there. So they're saying, yeah, South Carolina's only about a point, 2 points worse than Cincinnati. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I think there might be a little bit more worse than that. South Carolina is a good team. They're getting better. But they didn't really impress me with their win over Georgia State. It needed 2 block punts to really pull away. Spencer Rattler still had 2 picks, 1 touchdown, so the ratio not good there. I'm not sold on South Carolina yet. I think they're still a bowl team. But if I had to choose, Arkansas's tougher game was last week against Cincinnati and not this week against South Carolina. But, of course, the Hogs can't take them for granted, can't take any game for granted. And I think it will be close for a little while for sure. All right, I'm going to take a few more questions here or comments here. Then we'll go to the main reason we're here to talk about the recap, talk about the rankings, and then of course at the end of the night we'll of course come back through all the comments like we always do. So if if we don't touch on yours right now, don't worry, we're going to come back. We're going to get everything addressed. Let me see here. Let's see. Dave says Bama's going to mess Quinn Ewers' life up. It's going to be a long day for Quinn Ewers, he says. I would not disagree with that. Michael, how am I doing? Man, I'm happy. I'm doing well. Had a great weekend. And I will agree with you, Michael. I don't think Purdue should have lost that game. I think it was poor coaching. Very poor coaching down the stretch, man. You got the lead. I know you don't like to run. I know you're not great at running, but just run the dang ball. At the worst, you drain Penn State's timeouts, and then you try to pin them deep, and they got to go length of the field with no timeouts. But the defense was atrocious. The play calling was atrocious. The fumble at the end of the first half that resulted in a Penn State touchdown as time expired, atrocious, pitiful, poor tackling, poor discipline. Purdue, to me, should have won that game, but you can't. You can't teach stupid. You can't unteach stupid. It was poor discipline. It was poor tackling. It was poor fundamentals. It was frustrating. I'm not even a Purdue fan, but I was rooting for Purdue, to be honest with you. And it was frustrating to see them lose a game like that. So I'm with you, Michael. I agree they should have won, and it was very, very frustrating. Pierce. All right, the one thing we don't do here, Pierce, is we don't spam the chat. And one of our moderators isn't here, so I might have to moderate it myself. Don't make me be the moderator. We're going to get to your question. We always do. What do I think about Florida State? Great win. And this will be the last thing we touch on before we go into the rankings real quick. It was a great win for Florida State to take down LSU. However, I'm not completely sold on them. People saying they should be ranked, that's ridiculous. People saying they're an ACC sleeper now, that's ridiculous. LSU, we knew, at least I knew, was not going to be that good going into this year, right? We had them at 7-5. A lot of LSU homers had them at, 8, 9, 10 wins for LSU because it's LSU talent. They had the talent there. It doesn't matter who the change in the coaching. It doesn't matter that the secondary, the defense is depleted. We'll be fine. And that showed on Sunday. Florida State was a more veteran team. Clearly wanted it more than LSU. But I will say, and Cash Money, I appreciate you, man. Cash Money donating to Cash Money. BYU. Let's go, baby. Big game on Saturday. Super pumped. I stay up late every night, every Saturday to watch those games, but I'm going to be up till as late as I need to be to watch the Baylor and BYU, the Mississippi State, and Arizona. Very, 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 very excited about that. So, Cash Money, big-time BYU fan, we're ready for you. Big-time games coming up for BYU against Baylor and Oregon. And Dave C., and I'm going to get back to your question, Pierce, but Dave C., thank you so much again. So Cash Money, Dave, appreciate you guys both hooking us up, man. Like I said, the Super Chat is always on. Every single bit of that goes back into the channel. with this being a full-time gig, guys, it's really beneficial to us. Helps us out big time. So, if everybody on the chat donated $5, $1, whatever, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. So we appreciate all of you. Dave, I appreciate you. You truly are the man. I appreciate all of you and your support. We're going to get to your comment later tonight as well. 100%. But Florida State, I can't get behind them yet, because here's the thing. They played well. My question is this. Can you be thrilled with running a pitch play on 3rd and goal up, what were they up? 7? Up 7, 1 yard out. You run a pitch play on 3rd and goal. That was stupid. Run a quarterback sneak. Go up the middle. Hell, just kneel the ball. That would have been a better result than that. And I'm sure Florida State probably maybe would have gone for it on 4th down. I mean, just kick the field goal. You're up 10 and the game's over. So don't do anything stupid that could result in a fumble or an interception or anything like that. So pitching it backwards, you do risk the running back not catching it, fielding it cleanly. That's exactly what happened. So that put LSU in a position. Florida State's defense, atrocious down the stretch, couldn't get a stop. I do blame Brian Kelly. I mean, you look at LSU special teams, abysmal. 2 muffed punts, a blocked field goal, then, of course, the blocked extra point at the end of the game. I mean, at that point, when you've screwed up on special teams so much, why even risk kicking? You've already had a kick blocked early in the game. Special teams has been shaky. So why even contemplate kicking the extra point? Florida State was on their heels. They were struggling defensively. Go for 2 and just end it. Because even if I had been LSU, great, we're going to overtime. I don't have faith we're going to beat Florida State. It's not like a given. I think very questionable coaching on both sides. Questionable play call from Mike Norvell as Salt of the Earth says, do not pitch the ball on the goal line. No, stupid. Just like you don't throw the ball on the goal line. But they did it and gave LSU a chance to win the game. And they had, very well could have had the extra point not been blocked. But phenomenal game. One of the best games of the year already. The backyard brawl, both of those were unreal games that are going to go down as one of the best games of 2022. No doubt about it. But what I take away from that game is that Florida State definitely has, in a way, rounded a corner. They won a big game under Mike Norvell. Things are trending up for them. LSU not going to be as good as people thought they were going to be. Again, we only had them at 7-5. Didn't think they were going to be that great to begin with. I did predict them to beat Florida State, though. Didn't happen. Again, we're owning up to our losses here. So, with all that being said, could be a long year in Baton Rouge, because the schedule's only going to get tougher for LSU. They've got to navigate the entire SEC West, Alabama, Arkansas, Ole Miss, in a few weeks, Mississippi State. With the air raid, going to be very, very difficult there. It's going to be rough. It's going to be really, really rough. So just watch out. Watch out for LSU, because it could be a rough year one under Brian Kelly. Dave, thank you so much again. Again, guys, Super Chat's always on, whether you want to do it like that, whether you want to do Venmo, PayPal, that's in the description below as well. All my tags and handles for that. The expert picks go a long way as well. We're trying to reach 100 there. But, Dave, thank you so much, again, for 2 $33 Super Chats. And then Cash Money throwing that in there as well. So both those already going a long, long way. And I appreciate both of you so much. So, like as Dave would always said, don't let him be the only one. Don't let him carry the team tonight. Don't let him carry the GE Nation tonight. Help him out. But to hit his comment, every team needs to practice 1 yard line QB sneaks. Couldn't agree more. They run that play with Jordan Travis. They get in. Florida State still won, but they don't have to go through the stress of potentially losing. Just run it up the middle. QB sneak it. Just get it in. QB sneak from the goal line too, but QB sneaks on 3rd and goal, 3rd and short, 4th and short. Just get the first down. There are so many teams, it frustrates me that on 4th and 1 they choose to run a play out of shotgun or something like that. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. Just get the touchdown. Just get the first down. But people try to overcomplicate things and end up biting them, just like Mike Norvell did against Florida State. So, insanity. Again, we are going to touch on everybody's comments tonight. Don't worry. I do want to get to the AP poll here in 1 second. I'm going to come over to that in a second. But again, Dave, thank you very much. I want to give a shout out to my man Graham Brooks popping in. His phone actually notified him this time, so I'm very happy you actually got the notification to pop in for a little bit. And Graham, I don't know how long you can stay. I'm going to go over to the polls in a second, but we will touch on the ACC Atlantic. Actually, probably we'll do that a little bit here with the AP poll. So stay tuned for that. But Graham, appreciate you, all your support over all these years, man. It's gone a long way, helps us out. And Grant, one of the most loyal members of the GE Nation, so I appreciate you. All right, and James Ferguson, good to see you as well. It's been a while. Happy to have you. All right, so Dave, thank you so much again for the super chat. Cash Money, thank you again for the super chat. Let's go over and take a look at the AP poll, guys. Again, today, if you haven't seen it already, we put out our GE rankings, all right? So from now until the end of the year, every, I guess, Monday, I'd say, every Monday, we're going to put out our own rankings. You know, typically we come back and we go, oh, we're gonna talk about the AP poll, and we berate the AP poll, right? We're tired of that, man. We're tired of that because the AP poll continuously screws up and is stupid, idiotic. So why sit there and spend 15 minutes talking about how bad they are when we could just put out rankings that we think are right? Now, we're not saying our rankings are perfect by any means. We think they're definitely better than the AP poll, and when the playoff rankings come around, we believe they're going to be better than the playoff rankings. When there's no bias for our team or for our conference, we take everything into account. We take wins, we take margin of victory, we take location, we take injury. Everything is worked into our algorithm and how we rank these teams. And so we're going to break that down for you today. We put out our rankings earlier. Now we're about to show you the AP poll, stack it up against ours, and show you where they did it wrong. Dave, again, guys, what was that? 66 plus $71. $71 from my man Dave, and I appreciate you so much. Help him out. Help him out. Every single dollar counts, guys. Again, don't let Dave carry the team here. We can't let him put the team on his back solely, but I appreciate you so much, and everybody else that donates. I appreciate you guys. And I like that, Dave. Maybe let you put some input. Maybe do a live stream and let you guys actually have input in our rankings, which I plan on doing for the playoff poll, but maybe we'll do that down the road. Comic Dude also. Shout out to him. Comic Dude wants my rankings to be absolute. Very, very true. Very true. And Comic Dude, good to see you. Congratulations on the big Rutgers victory. Shout out to the Rutgers Scarlet Knights for upsetting Boston College. Don't think many people saw that coming. I know Dave did. Dave had a pretty good feeling about it. But a big-time win for Greg Schiano on the road, we should add. So that was very, very impressive. All right. AP poll. Here we go. Take a look at this. We put out our rankings a while back. Our rankings are up here. This is the Associated Press. Not too bad in the top 10, right? We had Alabama at 1. I still liked Ohio State at 2. A lot of people thought Georgia should be number 1, at least should be number 2. And give them credit for that. Their win over Oregon was extremely impressive. And, you know, I'm not horribly upset they jumped Ohio State. I just felt like Ohio State's win over a top 5 team, still by double digits, warranted more of them to stay at number 2 than Georgia, who, yes, won by 46 over a top 12 team, but a top 12 team that may have been a little overrated at that. So, but I'm not too angry about that. So Alabama 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Michigan at 4. I'm fine with that too. They jumped Clemson. We kept Clemson at 4. And many people actually on the comments, they've said, why Clemson at 4? They're not even a top 4 team. Here's my argument with Clemson. You know, my whole thing was, had that game stayed a 17-10 type game, that was the final score, yeah, probably would have dropped Clemson, not even outside the top 10, but lower than the top 5. Bottom line is, guys, Clemson still covered the spread. They still, I believe, single-handedly covered the over by themselves. What was it, a 41-10 game? So by themselves, Clemson still got it, or got very close to it. Their defense is still one of the best in the country. Best in the country. And their offense, yes, struggle. DJ Uyunglele is not the answer, but if they give the reins to Cade Klubnik, he's going to be just fine. And Clemson is going to be just fine. I know it was just one drive at the end of the game, but dang, he looked good. Clemson still across the board, guys. Someone said A&M would mop the floor with Clemson. No, they wouldn't. A&M could barely get 100 rushing yards against an FCS team in Sam Houston State. Don't tell me that Texas A&M would annihilate Clemson, especially at a neutral site. Not going to happen. So, you know, I still think Clemson's above A&M. I still think Clemson's defense would do well against a team like Oklahoma or Notre Dame. They would hang in there. So I still think about the teams that Clemson's ranked ahead of right now, it's fine. I still think they're a top 5 team in the country. Again, they still cover the spread. They still won by 31 points. It's justified for them to be a top 5 team. A&M at 6. We had them at 7. Oklahoma at 7. We had them at 9. Notre Dame at 8. We had them at 6. I really think, guys, Notre Dame, I'm glad they didn't drop Notre Dame more than they did. They were 5, dropped to 8. The way I see it, Notre Dame, again, was leading that game well into the third quarter. 17 seconds left in the third quarter, Ohio State finally took the lead back. So, and then again, Ohio State didn't get up by double digits until under 5 minutes left in the entire game. So Notre Dame played them well, played them tough. And I don't see why they should have fallen too much. So again, we had them at 6, above the likes of A&M. 8th is fine, again, because we didn't base our rankings off the AP poll anyway. So 8th, whatever. Baylor at 9, we had them at 8. I'm still going to die on the hill that I think Baylor should be above Oklahoma. I still wholeheartedly believe that, but to each their own. And then USC. That honestly, from 10 on, that's where I have an issue. This is where I have an issue. So get ready. Get ready. We're going to keep this poll up for a little while, so y'all can hear us. You'll see my face in the beautiful suit here in a little bit. But here's the problem. USC. You're telling me that going into the second week of the season, a team that was 4-8 last year is now a top 10 team, and the only win they have to show for it is a win over Rice? Let's think on that for a second. 4-8 last year. Yes, they added Lincoln Riley. Yes, they added Caleb Williams. Yes, they brought in all these big-time transfers. But you're telling me that you're going to go from 4-8. You added a bunch of transfers and new coaches that had never played a game at USC. You play one game over Rice, and you're a top 10 team. I know they started the year at 14. But USC, in my eyes, is not a top 10 team right now. They don't deserve a top 10 ranking. Put them in the top 25. I'm not even opposed to that. We have them all the way down, guys, at 18. That's where we think they should be. I don't think, really, they should be higher than that. 14th, I was livid they were that high. 10th, I'm livid they're that high. I would not be upset if USC was inside the 20 to 25 range, because I do not believe they're a top 10 team. Do I think they're going to beat Stanford? Yes, I do. Which means that you beat Stanford, a team who went 3-9, 4-8 last year. That'll move USC to probably 5th. Honestly, knowing the AP poll. But I think the 10th ranked spot for the Trojans is just way too high. It doesn't reflect how good the team is. Again, 4-8 last year. You play one game. We're basing all this off of what we think. It's a perspective thing. We think Caleb Williams is going to do great. We think Lincoln Riley is going to do great. We think USC is going to put it all together. You've seen one game. Makes no sense. So I have an issue with USC at 10th and moving up 4 spots. Not many teams lost ahead of USC, so to see them moving up to 10th is insane to me. Oklahoma State at 11th, we actually had them there. No worries. And then Florida. That's where let's stop on that for a second. Actually, you know what? We'll come back to the camera for a second to talk on Florida, and then we'll go back to the poll to hit everything else. And I've already seen a couple of your comments, which again, we will come back, discuss all of that with you, and try to hit as many as we can. I'm glad most of us are in agreement here. You are taking a Florida team that was unranked, and not even unranked, guys. Let's put it into perspective again. Florida's win over Utah was good. Number 7 team in the country, potential playoff contender. Florida beat them by 3 in the Swamp. Good win. Don't take that away from them. Don't take that away from Florida. Don't dog on them. Don't say Utah's bad. They're not. Whatever. Florida, when it came to the receiving votes last week, if you go back and look, Florida was technically, based on the receiving votes, was the 38th ranked team in the country. So the AP poll is telling us that they jumped practically 26 spots. You went from 38th to 12th because you won one game. One game over Utah. At home. Not even on the road. At home. And you jumped 26 spots. That, to me, guys, that's basically the equivalent of, based on last week's rankings, BYU plays Alabama. BYU beats Alabama by 3 in Provo, and BYU is now the number 1 team in the country. I mean, that's basically that type of jump there. That's basically the type of jump we're talking about here. And that is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And this is why the AP poll is stupid. This is what, if you don't want to agree with anything else I say, just listen to this. The AP poll is extremely biased. I'll give you other examples. Let me give you another example. There you go. Comic dude, throw them out. That wasn't even what I was going to use. 2 years ago, an unranked Indiana team beat number 8 Penn State by 1 in overtime at home. Next week, they're 17th. Penn State's 18th. That is the problem. And then I've got a bunch of comments, guys. Let me tell you something. On our rankings, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. Our rankings, we have Utah still as a top 10 team. Utah for us is 10th on our rankings. Florida, 25th. Barely making the top 25. One win doesn't change everything, right? One win over a top 10 team does not make you nearly a top 10 team. And I've got people commenting on our rankings. They go, why is Florida not above Utah? They beat them head to head. Why aren't they above them? Because they weren't even ranked. I think the AP poll and the playoff poll both put so much emphasis on head-to-head results. And here's the thing. To an extent, you should. If the teams are relatively even. Like, for example, if you have a team that is ranked 24th, okay, here's a good example. This week, and I'm going to come back to this. This week, Pittsburgh and Tennessee play each other. Based on the AP poll, Pittsburgh is 17th, Tennessee is 24th. If Tennessee beats Pittsburgh, I agree that Tennessee should be ranked above Pittsburgh. It shouldn't be a thing where Pittsburgh drops from 17th to 21st and Tennessee rises 2 spots to 22nd, or Tennessee goes from 24th to 20th and Pittsburgh is 19th, whatever it is. Tennessee should be above them. Why? Because they're both 1-0. They're both on relatively even playing fields. If Florida had been ranked relatively close to Utah, I wouldn't have much of an issue with Florida being ranked above the Utes. But they were 38th, guys. 7th, 38th. There's a big difference there. There's 31 spots between those two teams. And the fact that we are going to throw Florida into the top 12 after one win, again, is basically the equivalent of taking a guy like BYU, beating Alabama by 3 at home, and now BYU's the number 1 team. And BYU's better than Alabama. One win does not make you significantly better than one team. If in week 1 everybody's 0-0, 0-0, and let's use our favorite team, Akron. Let's say Akron beat Georgia. Major upset. Does that mean that Akron should be a top 5 team? Does that mean Akron should jump from unranked to 12th? No. Does that mean Akron should be ranked above Georgia? No. It's ridiculous. And the AP poll did the same thing a few years ago. If you remember, I believe it was number 10 Notre Dame traveled to Austin to take on Texas. What was that, 2016, 2015? Notre Dame and Texas in Austin. Texas upset Notre Dame in overtime. And the next day, or a couple days later, the AP poll came out and Texas went from unranked to 10th. They practically swapped spots. Notre Dame remained ranked, but Texas went from unranked to a top 10 team for one win by like 6 or 7 in overtime. Makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So what does this tell you, and what should this tell you, is that the AP poll does not value the quality of the team. They do not take into account logic. They take into account bias, and they take into account brands. Think about that. Texas, big-time brand. Let's put them in the top 10 because they're back. And it looks good to have Texas with a number by their name because for most of their history, they've had that. Same with Florida. Florida's unranked. That's not right. Oh, they beat one team. Let's make them 12th because that's where Florida typically should be based on the talent in their history. It looks better. Big-time brands are going to get that type of treatment from the Associated Press. That's why USC's ranked so high. That is why Florida is ranked so high. To be honest with you, I'm surprised that Texas isn't ranked. Because I would not have been surprised at all to see Texas get that 25th, 24th spot in there so that would look like an Alabama-Texas ranked versus ranked matchup just to make the hype that much more better. The AP poll, guys, is extremely biased. They don't know football. It's all about the brands. It's all about the eye. It's about the visual. It's eye candy. You're scrolling through ESPN, you're watching TV, and you see number 12 Florida, number 10 Texas. Oh my God. I remember when they used to be so good. I got to watch that now. Florida's good again. No, they're not. Again, maybe they do. Maybe they have a great season. I actually do think they beat Kentucky. Give them that. I think they beat them. I really do. But to sit there and tell me they're a top 12 team because you beat one top 10 team on your home turf by 3, and let's keep in mind that Anthony Richardson doesn't pull off some, really cool. It was good. A good double pump fake, looping around and gets the 2-point conversion. Utah gets down inside the 6. They don't try to throw the ball in the end zone and it gets picked off. They're down 1 point. They get down there. They line up. They kick the field goal, and Utah wins. It's ball game. We're not talking about this. Florida won that game fair and square. They deserved to win, but they were really close to not winning. So we're taking they were 6 yards away from not winning. I know you can say shoulda, woulda, coulda, whatever, but I am livid with the AP poll on that move. I have nothing against Florida. For you Florida fans that are on here now or might watch us later, I am nothing against them at all. But I have a problem with moving a team up 26 spots for a win over one team in week 1 on your home turf by 3 with a couple lucky breaks that went your way. Makes no sense. Where's your consistency? Where's your logic? We're not, the AP poll guys has thrown away the act of actually watching the games. You want to know why also? The Associated Press, your big time press media guys that are Heisman voters and crap like that. One of them a couple of years ago admitted, I didn't put Christian McCaffrey on my Heisman ballot, or I didn't give nearly as many votes because I don't stay up that late to watch him out west at Stanford. You're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. If you're going to call yourself a member of the media, if you're going to call yourself an AP voter, if you're going to call yourself a Heisman voter, if you're going to call yourself a playoff committee member or whatever you want it to be, you better do your damn job. And your job is to watch the games and to rank them and to vote or whatever you got to do correctly. And as Dave says there, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. And at that point, why don't we just have all the big brands in the top 10 year round? If it's all about the money, who cares? Who cares about the other teams? Florida beats Akron, number 1 team in the country. Alabama beats Utah State, number 1 team in the country. Georgia do some of these teams deserve it? Yes. Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, they deserve those spots. Florida right now does not. But why not? Let's just put all the big brands up there. Let's put the big guys up there. Let's put Texas up there. Let's put USC up there. Hell, let's put Nebraska up there. They were 3-9 last year, but they were the best 3-9 team in history, which technically qualifies them as a top 10 team, because if they had beat Michigan, if they had beat Oklahoma, if they had done this, they would have been a top 10 team. Therefore, let's just go ahead and throw them up there, because remember one, back in the 80s when they were a blue blood? Yeah, that means they're a top 10 team now. It makes no sense. And that, ladies and gentlemen, again, is why we are done with the AP poll. And we are going back to the GE rankings from now until the end of the year. Again, will our rankings be perfect? No. Will you disagree with them? Probably. But I can guarantee you that there is going to be more logic and more thoughts put into those rankings every single week. And I can guarantee you we're going to watch all the games every single week. And we're going to do our research. And it's going to go into those rankings more so than any single one of the AP voters or AP members. Your AP voters, your Heisman voters, every member of that playoff committee, can't trust them because it's a politics game. It's all about money. It's all about politics. They're not here to do what's best for the sport, what's best for the team, what's right. They're here to get money. They're here to catch your eye. Because, as someone said, remember that Texas thing? Remember that whole Texas thing a couple years ago? They lost to Kansas that year. Went to 10th the very next week. I'm pretty sure, California? They lost to California the next week. The top 10 team, and then lost right back. I'm not saying Florida's going to lose to Kentucky, but hey, if they do, send their ass back down. Pardon my French. Take them from 12th to 20th. Tell them to 12th to back out. You got one shot at this, Florida. You're done. It's unbelievable. And I think as college football fans, guys, we have put up with this for too long. Is anything going to happen? No. But every single week we get a new poll that is not based, again, on the results. It's solely based off of just who you like or what's going to bring in the most money. We see that because ranked versus ranked matchups look sexier and look more appealing to the eye than a ranked team and a not ranked team. Having 3 straight SEC teams in a row creates more discussion among the fans of, oh, we're better than you. You're 17th. We should be 17th. If you have Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Kentucky 1, 2, 3 all in a row, creates more discussion. It's not because they're really the 17th, 18th, 19th best teams, because it's laziness on the AP polls part. They're lazy. They're stupid. They don't know what they're doing. And they're single-handedly making sure that these polls and these rankings mean nothing. So, excuse me for that little rant. I'm sure we're not done. I don't even remember what's on the AP poll yet. We're only on number 12. But bottom line is, guys, the AP poll is wrong. It's bad. And we're not going to come on and do videos over them anymore. We're going to come on here and give you our rankings from now on. And we'd love to discuss those with you, because while they will not be perfect, and while I'm sure they will generate plenty of discussion, we can guarantee you that they're going to be well more thought out, and we're going to have actually good reasoning behind each of our picks. All right. Number 12, Utah at 13. Look at that. Look at that. Again, how funny that they put Utah and Florida right next to each other. Right next to each other. Florida beats them, jumps up 26 spots. They drop Utah 6 spots, and they're right next to each other. Just to show you, Florida's right above Utah. Oh yeah, they beat them head to head. And again, it's like their logic. It's like they want to toot their own horn. They want to brag about themselves. It's like, look at us. We value head to head. See, Florida's right above Utah, not 3 spots or 4 spots, right above them by 1 because they beat them. Put them there. Sure, okay. Utah at 13, we had them at 10th. Still a top 10 team in my eyes. Michigan State at 14, we had them at 13th. No issue there. Miami at 15th, we had them at 16th. Not much of an issue there. Still think Arkansas should be above Miami. Personally, we have the Razorbacks as a top 15 team. They were 19th last week. Beat number 23 Cincinnati by 7. Earlier in the chat, we talked about how Cincinnati is going to be a better team than South Carolina. So Arkansas, in theory, should start 2-0. Very well could be 3-0. Should beat Missouri State in week 3. But the Razorbacks in at 16th. I still think they're a top 15 team. I believe they were that to start the year. Again, more so than Miami, who went 6-7 last year. And USC, who went 4-8 last year. Pittsburgh in at 17. We had them actually as high as 14. I think their win over West Virginia was very impressive. They easily could have lost that game, but, as Dave says, should have lost the Mountaineers. But West Virginia dominated it at the line of scrimmage, dominated the trenches. In Pittsburgh at 17, we have them a little higher, but I think the jury could be out on them, and we'll have a better idea of the Panthers after this Saturday when they play Tennessee. Hey, Mike, I saw your comment too, Mike, about Oklahoma State. I'll come back to them, I promise. I'll get back to them. NC State at 18, they dropped them. The AP poll dropped them 5 spots. They dropped them 5 spots after their narrow win over ECU. That was definitely a game that NC State should have lost. Obviously, you hate it for Daffer. Man, you hate it for him to miss the extra point, which I will say wasn't really his fault. I feel like the laces were facing him. I mean, probably still should have made it, but we all know the rule. Got to have those laces out. But Daffer misses that and then misses the potential game winner. You just hate to see that. You hate to see that. An all-conference kicker just cracking under that pressure. I don't disagree with NC State dropping a few spots. We have them at 12th, which, again, as we mentioned in our video today, to the naked eye would look like we moved them up a spot. But keep in mind that to start the year, we liked NC State as a top 10 team. We had NC State around 7th. So we did drop them about 5 spots down to 12th. Wisconsin at 19, I don't have much of an issue with that. We had them at 17, beat Illinois State 38-0. BYU at 21st, we actually had them there. Kentucky at 20th. We also had Kentucky at number 20. So BYU and Kentucky, in our eyes, in the right spot. We had Ole Miss at 19. They had them at 22nd. We had Wake Forest at 22nd. They had them at 23rd. Tennessee, correct. We have them at 24th, right in there, making that a ranked versus ranked matchup. Tennessee should have been ranked to start the year, so definitely worthy of that. And then I actually dropped Houston out of the top 25. I was not impressed with Houston. Wasn't impressed with Houston in their win over UTSA. I thought it was very sloppy. I thought the play calling was horrible. You've got one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the AAC, and Houston continuously ran the football. Battled back, won the game, won it in 3 overtimes. But you know why? It's because they finally woke up in the fourth quarter and started to throw the ball, and it started working for them. I think Dana Holgorsen waited too long to start that. Again, got the win, but I was not impressed. I didn't think that was worthy of a top 25 appearance. We put Florida, obviously, in at 25. You know how we feel about that. Our team's just missing out. I had Penn State just missing out after their win over Purdue. Texas is certainly in the mix. But, you know, that bottom half of the top 25, the 20 to 25 range, I don't have too many issues with. I actually felt that Oregon getting kicked out was rather harsh, personally. I think there's a double standard there. Oregon, did they deserve to be as high as they did? No. We dropped them from, I can't remember where we had Oregon, but say 11th to 12th to 23rd. Very low-end top 25 team. To me, they're still a top 25 team. Find me any team not named maybe Alabama or Ohio State that could hang with Georgia right now. I don't think there is one. I really don't. So to drop Oregon as far as they did, I think it's pretty harsh and not necessary. Out of the top 25 from 11th. So again, you're telling me you're going to drop them over 15 spots. I just disagree with that. I think they're low in there. Mike, if you're still here, I want to touch on Oklahoma State just for you. Obviously, a very loyal viewer. You deserve that. Oklahoma State, man, look, the Central Michigan game was one of those things where I think Oklahoma State took their foot off the gas. I had them at 11th. The AP poll has them at 11th. I ranked them at 11th. So I think that's the right spot. Clearly, if I actually agree with them for once. I thought Spencer Sanders looked phenomenal. I thought Spencer Sanders looked great. 6 total touchdowns, over 400 yards, was torching the Chippewas left and right. I think they took their foot off the gas a little bit. They were up by like 37. They thought the game in the bag. Central Michigan credited them, never gave up, cut the game to 14, covered the spread, which was, I think, surprising for someone. They got down 37. The spread was about 21, 22. So that was a good comeback if you took Central Michigan like we did. But it's one of those things that the Oklahoma State, I think, will beat Arizona State. I think they'll bottle up Xavier Valade, and I don't have any faith in Emory Jones to win the game for the air. I'm more interested to see how Oklahoma State does. I think at the end of September when they play Baylor. To me, that's the first true test for the Cowboys, and whether or not they're like, okay, hey, we can view them as, again, legitimate Big 12 title contenders again like they were last year. The defense still needs work. I will give them that. Needs some work. We expected that. First year under Derek Mason, first game under Derek Mason, you lose so many tackles. I think 4 of your top 6 tacklers, something like that. It's going to be a little work in progress, but I still think they're better to beat Arizona State. So I'm excited to watch them, Mike. Excited to see where they go. But otherwise, Spencer Sanders looked great. If he can play like that year round, that's the Sanders we've been looking for. That's taking care of the ball. That Oklahoma State team can be one that crashes the playoff party if they play like that year round. Cash Money, again, thank you very much for that super chat, man. I appreciate you. He says, hey, screw it. BYU can handle Georgia. I said, is there any team out there that can take on Georgia other than Bama or Ohio State? And he goes, BYU can. BYU can. And maybe, just maybe, Cash Money, BYU will get their shot. I mean, we've talked about this on some previous streams. You know, if BYU runs the table, and they could, man, this team is deep. They're talented. If they take down Baylor, a top 10 team, BYU will shoot up in the rankings. The next week they play Oregon on the road, who clearly is very vulnerable. If they take down Oregon, that's a quality road win. Oregon team that might be back in the top 25 as a 24-25 team. Later in the year, they play Arkansas, who very well could be a top 15 team. So if BYU takes it, they play Notre Dame, who will be a top 10 team probably. So if BYU runs the table, guys, there is a case to be made for them to make the college football playoff. And if they are undefeated midway through October, we will definitely be talking about that. Max goes, no way you can be. He's probably joking, Max. But I would say that, yes, even though they lost to UAB in the bowl game, this team does look drastically different. And again, you never know what can happen. If BYU runs the table with the quality wins over Baylor, Oregon, Notre Dame, Arkansas, tack on Boise State if you want at the end of the year. I think they play, if I'm not mistaken, I think they play Stanford at the end of the year. Those are all quality wins. And you never know. You never know. Don't think it's going to happen. personally don't, but I also thought a lot of other things wouldn't happen, and yeah, here we are. So, never know. Cash Money, though, thank you very much for that super chat. You and Dave carrying the stream tonight. I appreciate you both. Anybody else, man, I'm telling you, we've got the super chat's always on. Goes a long way for us. Helps us out big time. Again, every bit of it goes back into the channel, and it's so important for us when we get those super chats. Again, we have the expert picks. We've got our phone here on standby. We've got our phone here. We actually had a sale earlier this morning. Again, if we get to 100 sales, we will have something very, very special coming here to the channel. So again, it's a year-long subscription, guys. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the country, over 60% each of the last 2 weeks, beating out over 80% of the analysts each of the last 4 years. It's a one-time fee, guys, for an entire year's worth of college football and NFL, or individual, just college football or NFL. So the combo package clearly says best value. Jump on that, guys. Jump on that. Our picks coming out for week 2. They come out tomorrow. Deep analysis on every game. Guaranteed winners. We're going to finish with a winning record. We never have had a losing record. We can guarantee it's going to happen again. So jump on that. Whether it's a super chat, whether it's the expert pick subscriptions, it goes a long way. And again, help us get to that 100 goal. Help us get to that 10,000 subscriber goal. Again, these live streams are helping us out with that. If you're viewing it now or have never been here before, subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, because 10,000, that's a huge, huge number. And we are really, really excited and ready to celebrate that. So help us get there by Saturday. That is the goal. That is the goal. All right. We're going for almost an hour here, guys. I promised that we would come back and touch on some of the comments you guys have left. So I do want to touch on a few of those, or as many of those as I can. Again, thank you all for joining us again tonight, guys. It's been a wild week 1. Again, hope you all had a phenomenal weekend. Long weekend, football for 5 straight days, and we are ready to get back on the football train on Friday night, Louisville, UCF, and tons of games on Saturday. And season is in full swing, baby. We could not be more happy, could not be more excited. Cash Money, my man, I appreciate you. He said, look. The last thing before I start scrolling up the chat, man, if Vandy beats Wake Forest 28-25, man, social media, the nation is going to go wild. A 3-0 Vandy team beating a top 25 team. Look, the game's in Nashville. Mike Wright is a dog. He has been amazing so far this year. Sam Hartman's coming back, which is huge for Wake Forest, but you can't help but wonder, is he going to be a little rusty? I mean, thank God he's okay. Obviously had a blood clot issue. They did the surgery to remove that. There are no more, so we're very thankful and happy he's going to be back. One of the best quarterbacks in the country. But this guy hasn't played football in over a month. Hasn't really practiced, hasn't been hit, hasn't done much. So you can't help but wonder, is he going to be 100%? If Vandy can jump on him early, we could be in for a dogfight in Nashville on Saturday morning. Man, if Vanderbilt beats Wake Forest, man, that's going to go insane. It's going to be wild. South Tech says, we love Vandy. We loved Vandy a couple years ago when we made that bet with you guys. We said, look, if Vandy wins, what we say, 8 games or something, we'll shave our head or something like that. And I'm not making that bet anymore now. No, I'm not doing that this year. But man, I love it. I love it. Just throwing it out. You never know. You never know what could happen. But Cash Money, you're the man. I appreciate you. You and Dave single-handedly carrying our chat tonight. I appreciate both of you. All right, let me see here. I'm scrolling back up. We went on that tangent for like 20 minutes, and so I got a lot to talk about here from what you guys have talked about in the chat so far. The Best Savage. I don't know if he's still here yet, but I appreciate you and all your support. He's been here for years now, so very pumped to have him here. We talked about Florida. I'm not getting back onto the Florida talk anymore. Graham, thoughts on where the ACC Atlantic stacks up after week 1? I know you're a Clemson guy, obviously. I still got Clemson as number 1. I still got Clemson as a top 4 team in my eyes. So after watching this last weekend, Clemson's still up there. NC State's going to bounce back. I feel pretty confident that NC State's going to be bounced back. So, it was a bad showing against ECU, but ECU's a good team. They're not crap. They're pretty good teams, and it was on the road. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt there. I think NC State's still up there. Florida State seems to be trending in the right direction. Some people said they could be a loss for Clemson in a couple weeks, I think in October. I'm not going that far with it yet. But I do think Florida State definitely has improved and is more dangerous than they've been in years past. Wake Forest, I'm curious to see how they do these next few weeks with Sam Hartman back. I know they play Clemson relatively early as well. There's about a 2-3 week period, guys, where I think Clemson plays NC State and Wake Forest. I don't know if it's back to back or if it's like in a span of 3 weeks, but they play them very close together. And as we've always said, how those three teams fare against one another will determine who wins the ACC Atlantic Division. Problem is, if Clemson wins both of them, it's Clemson's to lose. It's done for. So that's going to be the big storyline there. Does Clemson win both games against NC State and then the road game at Wake Forest? If they do, I think Clemson practically has locked up the Atlantic Division. Flying blind, KJ Jefferson's going to have a great game this Saturday. I thought he had a pretty awesome game against Cincinnati, and I would say it's probably going to be even better against South Carolina. Let's see here. Flying blind, Arkansas can rush for over 200 yards on South Carolina's defense. Yes, they can. South Carolina gave up a lot of rushing yards to a good rushing team in Georgia State. We talked about that last week, how good of a rushing team the Panthers were. Arkansas, though, I think had close to 200 rushing yards against Cincinnati. And Cincinnati's front, to me, was way better than that of South Carolina. So it could be a long day for the Gamecocks, especially considering they don't only have to account for the running backs of Arkansas, they've got to account for the dual threat ability of KJ Jefferson, something that Cincinnati struggled with doing. I don't have much faith in South Carolina doing it either. We'll have more analysis on that game tomorrow, though. Week 2 predictions dropping tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time, along with a Bama-Texas video at 6 and another live stream at 7. So a full day of Gridiron Expert content coming to you guys tomorrow right here on the channel. Let's see here. Still scrolling through. Sometimes you guys get in some really good conversations. I just like to read. I don't even have to address it. I can just read what you guys are saying to each other. It's kind of fun. Let's see. Dave says if Klubnik is the quarterback, they'll be in the playoffs. DJ is horrid. I 100% agree. 100% agree with that. Look, I watched one drive of K. Klubnik last night. And yes, the game was out of reach. Yes, Georgia Tech may have given up, but he looked good. He was making throws that DJ wasn't going to be able to make, couldn't make. He's obviously more mobile than DJ. He looked confident. He's the man. And I don't understand Dabo's loyalty to K. Klubnik. I don't understand why he keeps riding with him. He was abysmal last year, more interceptions than he had touchdowns. He didn't look good last night. As someone made a good point. They said, Cade Klubnik finished the game with the same amount of touchdowns as DJ Uiagalelei. Cade Klubnik had one drive. DJ Uiagalelei had the whole game. Again, take it with a grain of salt. We don't want to overreact, but we all watched it. And again, yes, they were up. Yes, Georgia Tech was on their heels. They didn't care, but he looked good. And some of the throws he made down the stretch were very, very impressive. Throws that DJ would not have made. He would have missed significantly. It would have been bad. So I agree. If they make that quarterback change, they need to do it sooner rather than later. Clemson, the offense takes off, the defense elite, they make the playoffs. If they don't, Clemson will lose possibly 2 games. If they lose 2 games, they're out. We already had them losing to Notre Dame. That Notre Dame defense, that was very good against Ohio State's offense, that Notre Dame defense would eat DJ Uiagalelei alive in South Bend. If he's still the quarterback come November, I'm still riding Notre Dame in that game. If K. Klubnik's the quarterback, watch out. Watch out. That's how big of a deal that quarterback position is and how big of a deal the quarterback change is. They need to make it, but right now I don't think Dabo's ready to do it. And the problem is he's going to shoot his team in the foot because if he waits until Clemson loses to make that change, I think your season's done. But I don't think right now Clemson beats Notre Dame in South Bend. So if Clemson drops a game to Wake Forest or NC State or Florida State or whatever, they lose that game in South Bend on top of that conference loss, and Clemson's out of the playoff again. They lose 2 conference games, they could lose the ACC Atlantic again. So K. Klubnik needs to get in there ASAP. Dave saying DJ's like Jaden Daniels of LSU. 1 read and then they're lost. Yeah, Daniels had good mobility. I'll give him that. If they were able to extend some plays and pick up some yards just with the mobility, but as a passer, no, not good. Although I give him credit for leading that 99-yard drive. I will give him credit for that. Let's see here. Still scrolling through. We talked about the AP poll. We went on a little tangent for a while on that, hitting all that. Let's see. Obviously, Comic Dude made a phenomenal point about Indiana when they beat Penn State. How, again, guys, one win does not make you a top 25 team. One win does not make you better than the team you beat, in my opinion. Yes, you beat them, but in terms of rankings, doesn't mean you should be ranked above them all the time. I strongly disagree with all that. A lot of people high on Tennessee. Teen Raider, Tennessee's going to beat Pitt. Comic Dude, yes, he agrees because Tennessee almost, I think that's right, or I'm not sure. I made a mistake, but Pittsburgh beat Tennessee last year on the road, but Tennessee very well could have won that game. So we have more analysis on that on Thursday. Don't worry. Dave says, my advice, bet the overs until the adjustments by line makers. For the Tar Heels and Oklahoma State, Gundy knows his defense is not that great. They can score. Sanders has improved. He saw that in the bowl game against Notre Dame. And holy cow, I'm going to come back up to that, but we got a big super chat donation from Cash Money. Cash Money, wow. Man, I appreciate you. Holy cow. That's phenomenal. You and Dave, man, still single-handedly carrying the chat. But thank you so much, my man, for that donation. Again, huge boost to us here at the channel. Goes right back into it and means a lot. So he's got Florida State beating Louisville 31-21. And I'm pretty sure I had Florida State winning that game as well when we did our preseason predictions. I got to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I did. Not very high on Louisville anymore, man. That performance against Syracuse was abysmal. They had annihilated Syracuse each of the last 2 or 3 years. They were running all over the orange, and they laid an egg in the Carrier Dome. So I don't know if that's a testament of how bad Louisville is, and maybe that teams have figured out Malik Cunningham, or maybe how good Syracuse is and how maybe they can make a bowl game. I wasn't high on them this year, but Sean Tucker, if he can stay healthy, that's going to be a tough team. That defense, severely overrated, which we knew. But, man, Cash Money, again, thank you so much. Dave's right, salt to the earth. Hit us up, man. Hit us up. Man, we are having a great chat already. It's been a great night already. And, again, we appreciate you guys and all the support. Cash Money, thank you so much for the support. And for that super chat donation. You and Dave, again, I appreciate you guys so much. Anybody else that wants to toss in, again, whether you want to do it like that, whether you want to purchase, again, the expert picks, or I'll give you this. If you put in a $10 deposit on Prize Picks using our promo code Gridiron, that sends us money as well. It helps us out tremendously, and you can win money with that too. There's actually a big-time promo going on right now, guys. If you bet $10 using our promo code Gridiron and bet on Tom Brady on Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys to complete one pass, you win. You win the money. That's a special they're running to get you on there. And we use it. We love it. It's great. It's fun. You can mix and match. So $10 deposit over on Prize Picks using our promo code Gridiron. The link for that down in the description below. You donate that. We get benefits from that big time here at the channel. And you win, because I can guarantee you Tom Brady's going to complete at least one pass on Sunday. So take advantage of that while you can before Sunday. Go do it. Again, $10 is all it is. You got to use our promo code though. Got to use it. But if you use it, link for that also in the description below. It goes a long way for us. Helps us out big time. So again, I want to go through that one more time, and then I'm going to come back up and answer some more questions. But to Cash Money, thank you so much. Again, really appreciate you and Dave. Thank you guys so much. And then obviously again, Cash Money for that $50, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Let me respond to this message here. All right. So there you go. Expert picks, Prize Picks. Use that promo code. If you can't donate through the super chat, you can donate. Sign up with Prize Picks using our promo code, $10 deposit, and you're basically donating to us as well. So again, so many different streams and ways we can build this channel. 10,000 subs, better setups. Help us out. All right, we're going to come back up to the top, keep hitting some of these comments, and then we're going to work our way back down. So we will get to you guys. We will get to as many of these comments and questions as we can. I was catching up here for Cash Money. Blew me away. Let's see here. I got to find out where we were. I like this. We'll start here. Salt of the earth. AP is like the NCAA. Both need to go. I couldn't agree more. Both need to go. Or, it's one of those things where they both need to go, or they both need to have some sort of jurisdiction or leadership. There's no clear leadership in the NCAA. The AP poll, I get you have to have multiple voters and multiple people offering their opinions and thoughts. I get that, but maybe we should get some competent people behind that. We don't have any competence behind the AP. We don't have any competence behind the NCAA. We need competent voters, like majority of them. I'd say all of you really are competent people that could actually vote without being extremely biased, or the ability to watch the games and know what you're talking about. We got guys, again, that aren't watching the games on the West Coast because it's too late, or guys on the East Coast that aren't watching it because it's too early, or whatever it is. And ultimately, guys, you can't call yourself a true analyst, you can't call yourself a true fan, and you can't call yourself a true voter or member or anything if you're not willing to put in that work, if you're not willing to view it all objectively with no bias, if you're not willing to be fully dedicated. If you're not willing to put in that dedication as a AP voter or a Heisman voter or a playoff committee member or whatever, then I believe you should be stripped of that title. And you should be stripped of those duties. It's just like any other job. If you are doing your job, you were employed by somebody and you fail to do that job, you fail to do it correctly, you fail to put in effort, you fail to show up, guess what? You're going to get fired. Should get fired. You're not going to get paid as much. No reason that should be the same with college football. But unfortunately, it's not. All right, scrolling through some more. Comic Dude said during that little rant that I was going to go through the polling place with torches and pitchforks. Maybe I'll get my guy in Arkansas. Maybe I'll do that to him. Kidding, YouTube. I'm not going to do that. Gotta make sure they know. Dave's dedicated. That's what I'm talking about. This guy knows his stuff, obviously. He stays up till 2 a.m. or later to see all the late games. And obviously, Dave, he's way east. I know Dave is. I know Comic Dude is. We got a lot of guys that are out here on the East Coast. And they're dedicated viewers. They're dedicated fans. And as they should be. I love it. I do the same thing. I'm in Central Time, but I'm up early watching the early games. I'm up late watching the late games. And typically, after I watch the late games, I come back here and start filming for a recap video that we're going to put out that Sunday morning or whatever we're going to do. So, yeah, I love it. It's a college football community doing what they need to do to get crap done. All right, let's see here. Still scrolling through. Talked about Mike in Oklahoma State. Definitely did that. We talked a little bit about Arkansas earlier. Let's see here. Make sure I'm not missing anybody's big time comments. Let's see. Talked about Vandy and Wake Forest. Cash Money brought that one up. I love that. I like this comment by Dave here. I love Baylor since they hired Aranda. If I was starting a team or program, and there weren't many coaches, I'd choose Aranda over based on where they're at. And Aranda was a phenomenal hire. I loved it too. He's a guy that's passionate, a guy who's a great defensive mind. And at the time, bringing that to the Big 12 was huge. And it's paid dividends for him. What did they go 2-7 to the COVID year? And then obviously last year, 12 games, one of the biggest turnarounds from 2 wins to 12 wins, winning the Big 12, winning the Sugar Bowl. That just doesn't happen because of luck. And obviously Baylor now is still a top 10 team. And if they can get by BYU, could be in the hunt for the playoff. That's the unfortunate thing for Baylor, guys, is it's a tough schedule. I'd love to see them in the hunt for a playoff spot. Because remember, if they had beat TCU last year, they don't lose to TCU by 2, they were in the college football playoff because they won the Big 12 over Oklahoma State. So you look at it and you go, man, if they get by BYU and they can get past, go in there as a one-loss team and win the Big 12 again, easier said than done. But if they can, they can be in the playoff. But we're going to learn a lot about Dave Aranda and Baylor on Saturday night, late Saturday night. So for you guys out on the East Coast, it's going to be about 10:15 start for you, which I know, Dave, you'll be up. Many of you will be up for it. But we're going to learn a lot about them. We knew Baylor was going to have some issues at the skill positions. How are they going to replace the running backs? How are they going to replace the wide receivers? How well will Blake Shapen do against an elite defense in BYU, especially at night in Provo? A lot of questions there. And so that's going to be a huge testament. So, hey, BYU's legit. Bump them from 21st into the top 15. Or hey, whoa, Baylor at 9. They deserve to be higher. And this team, they haven't missed a beat after their historic 2021. So I love that comment. I love Dave Aranda. He's such a great guy. Scotty B, the Baylor King, can tell you all about him. But his track record and his passion and enthusiasm is pretty much unmatched. All right. Let's see here. South Tex, yeah, huge win for Oregon State over Boise. We took that one against the spread, and they covered that quick. Sloppy game. Boise State had like 5 turnovers. Oregon State had 3. At one point, they were just trading like pick, fumble. I mean, it was unreal. Oregon State ended up coming through. Very fun game late Saturday night, but not going to be as easy this Saturday, guys. Oregon State traveling to Fresno State, taking on that high-octane passing attack in Jake Haener. I'd watch out for that. Definitely need to watch out for that game. So, but yes, huge win for Oregon State. The fast start was what they needed under Jonathan Smith to cover that spread quick, to dominate that game, win by 17. That's the type of performance they needed to get the people hyped and not have much doubt heading into the season. So I was really happy to see that. Drewski, NC State fan. Yeah, y'all get it together. Don't worry. Y'all are going to get it together. I feel very confident about that. I really do. Michael, when am I going to have GE merch? Hopefully soon, man. We've got some sweatshirts that are on the way. Hopefully we're going to have that set up on our website for you guys. And so anybody that's interested in buying some sweatshirts and things like that, hopefully they'll be available. As soon as we can get that going, we'll let you know here on a live stream or something like that. So, Michael, you interested? Interested in buying the GE sweatshirt? We'd love to have people across the country representing the brand, representing the logo. That'd be pretty sick. So once we get that really locked down, we'll let you know. Got one myself. I'll have to wear it one day for another live stream. And we're gonna come back up to the chat, but I gotta give my man Cash Money some more praise. Holy crap, man. Cash Money, man, I appreciate you so much. Wow. Awesome. Just unbelievable. Thank you so much, man. Again, sometimes leaves me speechless. You know, you and Dave, just sometimes I get that. I was going through, I'm in the zone, and then I see this big, beautiful pink thing light up there. I'm like, what is that? You know? So Dave, thank you so much, man. And to Cash Money and Dave, but Cash Money, thank you so much for that. He's got Florida State beating Boston College 42-28. So Cash Money, I gotta ask you here. I'm looking here. You're high on BYU. We know that. We've seen that. It's 2 comments tonight. We've got Florida State beating Louisville and Boston College. What other hot takes you got? Are we going to see a Boston College, a Florida State, BYU, New Year's Six Bowl? Is your dream, is like Florida State your second team? Maybe BYU, Florida State, national championship or something like that? I love going back and forth between the big time BYU predictions and the big time FSU predictions. But man, if Mike Myrick was here, he'd be all over you, man. He like his hashtag, man. Mike's got us. And right now he does 2-0 for the Seminoles. But Cash Money, man, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for that. Again, that super chat donation, guys. Again, every bit counts. And tonight it's been a phenomenal chat. We've gotten a lot, and every single bit of it right back in the channel. Get that beautiful monthly YouTube check they send our way, and we cash that and then throw it in. So I appreciate you so much. Dave, of course, appreciate you so much. Again, guys, whether it's $1, $50 like Cash Money, my man, or anybody else, it helps out. It does help out. So don't think yours is don't think this because you can't do 50 or whatever, it doesn't matter, because it does. It 100% does. So both of you rock, Dave. Both of you rock. You and Cash Money rock big time. I'm going to come back up here, keep working our way down. We're getting close. I'm slowly but surely chipping away here. Let's see. Christian Fernandez, great question. Is this Scott Satterfield's last year at Louisville? Well, yeah, probably. Probably so. He was already on the hot seat entering the year. People weren't pleased with him. And then to lose to Syracuse. It's one thing to lose to Syracuse. It's another thing to get blown out by Syracuse, 31-7. Factor in that Louisville could lose to UCF on Friday night at the Bounce House. UCF offense, very electric. Defense, very underrated. So let me tell you, if Louisville starts 0-2, I'll pull up their schedule for you, actually. If I can real quick. Scott Satterfield going to be out of a job at Louisville. Well, they're 0-1. They could be 0-2. The next week they play Florida State. That's week 3 on a Friday night. Well, Cash Money already saying that they're going to lose that game. Florida State's going to beat Louisville. So they'll be 0-3 possibly. And I would tell you one thing. If they're 0-3 heading into September 24th against South Florida, done. They might not fire him right then and there. But yeah, Scott Satterfield's gone. Because then the schedule gets tougher. And they still have a road game at Boston College, who's not a horrible team, but they did lose to Rutgers. Road game at Virginia, very good passing attack. They host Pittsburgh, got West Virginia, James Madison, no pushover there, no stranger to upsets. New member of the FBS, annihilated Middle Tennessee in their first game as an FBS member. So don't sleep on the Dukes. Road game at Clemson, road game at Kentucky, who they never have success against, at least haven't in recent years. I mean, you start 0-3. I think Kentucky's a 4th loss, Clemson's a 5th loss. I mean, there's a very good chance that Louisville missed out on the bowl game at that point, and he's gone after that because last year they were mad for going 6-6. They were upset with him for going just 6-6, barely making a bowl. He's gone. He's gone. They gave him the benefit. The reason Scott Satterfield stayed at Louisville is because he's recruited relatively well. They didn't want to let him go prior to this year because they were like, okay, let him get his recruits in. Let's see what he can do. Didn't pan out very well. Season's still young. Time to turn around. But if you lose to UCF, if you're a Louisville fan, I'd start panicking just a little bit. Alex Kidd, awesome. Big Michigan State fan. Been here forever. Love him, man. Vanderbilt will run the table and beat Georgia. Man, wouldn't that be something? You never know. You never know. Dale Campbell, my 10 big games in week 2. Well, we're going to give you half of them tomorrow. So, Dale, we're not going to tell you that now, but half of our big games will be tomorrow. Those are just the games that don't even include ranked versus ranked matchups. There's 3 of those. So we have 5 games that are less underrated but big in week 2. That comes out tomorrow with our week 2 predictions. And then we have, of course, 4 big-time matchups that we're going to break down with individual videos. One of those coming out tomorrow, Alabama and Texas, little teaser. 2 on Thursday, 1 on Friday. And live streams tomorrow at 7 for those of you that are going to be back. 7 o'clock tomorrow. 8 a.m. on Thursday. Remember, 8 a.m.'s on Monday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time all on Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll be back right here, 7 o'clock, same time tomorrow. Very excited about that, though. A lot of content coming your way. Let's see here. Still catching up here. Cash Money, man, is hammering that button, man. I'm loving it. Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, man. That's $105 just straight from you. Holy cow. Thank you very much. He was born in Florida, moved to Utah, and became a BYU fan. I love it. So a little bit of Florida State loyalty, kind of, just because of your home state. I get that. But then became a BYU fan. So I love that. That's awesome, man. I mean, I know in Utah you really only have 2 choices, right? BYU or Utah. Cougars or the Utes. So I think it's awesome you went with a BYU fan. I think it's cool you still have some ties to the Florida area with Florida State. Heck of a move, too. Heck of a move all the way really across the country. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that super chat. And I'm going to go back up and hit some of the other comments here in a second. But Dave, they might not know how to do a super chat. There's a button, guys. I mean, if you don't know, there's a button there, and see if I can show you. Pull it up on my phone here. If you're watching on your phone or laptop, whatever you're watching. But there is a live chat button. And then in the corner where you can chat, look at me, yeah. I don't even know if y'all can see it. But down where you type your chats, there's a little $sign there, and you can click on that. And there's a super chat button, a super sticker button, all those things there. And that's where you can donate or you just, obviously you're typing through that. It's the button right next to where you're chatting that allows you to do that. So Dave, Cash Money, you guys have carried us tonight, and I could not be more grateful. Could not be more grateful. But for everybody else, that's where that is, that button, in case you ever want to do a super chat, whether it's $1, $5, $10, whatever it is, helps us out. Same again with Prize Picks. Hook us up, man. Use that promo code Gridiron, just $10. That's the minimum. That's what they require. Wish it could be less. But if you throw in $10 over on Prize Picks using our promo code Gridiron, guys, you get the 100% sign-up bonus. You're guaranteed a win to start off because Tom Brady will complete at least one pass Sunday night. And that basically donates to the channel because we do get a cut of that with that partnership. So help us out there. $10 over at Prize Picks. It goes a long, long way. And take advantage of that play, guys. They don't do many plays like that too often, at least easy guaranteed wins. And we can guarantee that you will win with that Tom Brady pick. So hook us up there. Expert picks, again, help us get to that 100 goal. Every sale counts. Every sale gets us closer to the goal and gets us closer to bringing something really, really big here to our channel. Someone mentioned a 24-hour live stream earlier, and I can't say that's not possibly being discussed. I'm not saying it's a lock, but you never know. You never know. Help us get to 100 expert picks, and maybe we'll give you an answer. So I love it. But Cash Money, thank you again, man. Thank you so much. And again, I love the story. Love the story from Florida to Utah. That's so cool. Super cool. And real quick, I'm going to get down to my... I got to go back up. I hope he's still here. Max Todd, welcome. Welcome to the team, man. I hope you're still here, Max. I've been behind. He is. I just saw his comment. So Max, he says his first time here. If you haven't welcomed him, guys, give him a welcome. Welcome to the GE Nation, my man. We're super pumped to have you. We're bringing you college football content year-round, Max. We are bringing you year-round content. We're going to have videos here. We've got live streams. We're active on Twitter. We're active with everything. So you are in the right place. Welcome home, really. Welcome to the nation. So I know a couple of guys greeted you earlier up there. I didn't even see that comment. I'm so far behind. But welcome to the nation, Max. If you want to get more involved, we have a free Discord server. Link for that is in our description. If you want to sign up for that Discord server, again, that's free. Talk football with me. Talk football with a lot of these guys that are in there. We'd love to have you in there, just talking ball, sharing Twitter posts, talking throughout the games on Saturday. Hop in. Let's talk. But again, welcome to the team, man. Welcome to the team. We're super pumped to have you. And to answer your question real quick, is the running back for Kentucky, Chris Rodriguez, going to play? If he's not, there's no chance of beating Florida. To my knowledge, he is not playing. Chris Rodriguez, one of the best running backs in the SEC, will not be playing on Saturday against Florida. Pretty sure he's suspended for 3 or 4 games. And obviously, Florida would be just their second. So he should not be playing on Saturday. And I agree. I thought Florida would beat Kentucky with Chris Rodriguez playing. Definitely don't see them losing to Kentucky without him. So, for sure. For sure. Dave, thank you for welcoming him, man. Max, again, welcome. Super pumped to have you. Glad you're here. Thanks for subscribing, man. And we look forward to getting to know you and really just welcome you to the GE Nation, man. We're super pumped to have you. My man Dave, can I do some totals in the expert picks? Yeah, we're going to mix it up some. That's the goal. We're going to do some over-unders. We're going to do some totals. We got obviously your spreads. It's the basic spreads, but we're looking to switch things up. We're studying the numbers. Can't guarantee it'll be every week. But yeah, we got you. And obviously I appreciate you and all your support and all your feedback too. It helps a lot. All right, let me see here. I love Dave and Cash Money are just kind of going back and forth like a bidding war. I see that. I'm beating you, Cash Money. Beat me. Come on. I think he's got you beat now. Man, I love it. I love the competition. Scotty B, does Iowa lose to Iowa State? We'll find out tomorrow. It's one of our 5 games that we're going to be breaking down. So find out tomorrow. Does Iowa beat Iowa State? Yes, Iowa's offense was atrocious. I didn't think it was possible for the Hawkeyes offense to get worse than it was last year, but I stand corrected. To win a game 7-3 without scoring a single touchdown is very, very impressive. Not many people can do that. To outscore an opponent in the second half 4-0. 4-0. 2 safeties. Unbelievable. So give credit really to Iowa's special teams for continuously pinning South Dakota State deep in their own territory, because had they not, South Dakota State probably would have won that game. And at one point, I was kind of rooting for them, to be honest with you. I was like, this is so bad to watch. Keep in mind, guys, that type of offense, that type of entertainment, that's what we're going to get on CBS starting maybe next year. So have fun with that. Your fun, competitive, tough SEC games that you're used to getting at 2:30 CBS, we're going to get games like Iowa and South Dakota State. Great. I we break down that game in deeper detail, Scott. The Cy Hawk Trophy game. We'll break that down in deeper detail tomorrow. But the offense was horrible. But the only thing I'll say on that is the offense was horrible last year, and they still beat Iowa State by 10 in Ames. So something to think about. South Tex, give me a vote. Yeah, I love it. You know what? I will take on all the responsibilities, man. I will take on the responsibility of a NCAA commissioner, while also becoming the head coach of the Akron Zips, while also becoming a college football playoff committee member and voting. Give it all. Nothing is too much. I got so much on the plate as it is. Just give me more. Because look, if it positively affects the game in a positive way, I will happily do it. I love it. I love it. So give me a vote. Make me a coach. Give me a commissioner job. I'll take it. I'll take it. Let's see here. Dave, I watch from noon to 2 a.m. on Saturdays and love it. That's exactly what I did too. Sat on the couch all day, and it was the best feeling in the world. Best feeling in the world. Dave wants a GE hoodie. I think that can be arranged. As soon as we get that, we'll send it your way. And let everybody else know, obviously, that's going to be on the website. So once we get it really loaded up, we will let you know. So you guys can buy those GE sweatshirts. We'd love to get you those. All right, let's see. Eddie, what would I think if Missouri starts 4-0? I think that'd be phenomenal. I'd be happy for them. Genuinely, I would. But it won't last, unfortunately. It wouldn't last. SEC slate just gets too tough. Still got, obviously, a good Florida team. Still got Georgia. Still got an improving Vanderbilt team. Still got Arkansas season's in. Auburn, who's not going to be great, but should have enough to beat Missouri. And there's just so many factors that go into it. But and also Kansas State this Saturday. I'm not very high on Missouri as it is. And Kansas State in Manhattan with that rushing game, I think Missouri, I projected them to lose that game, and I'm going to stand by that. But Dave took Missouri early. Dave took them early. I like it. All right. Yeah, appreciate you, Robert, for welcoming Max and obviously hyping up the channel a little bit. Appreciate you guys. Let's see here. And last thing I've got here. I'm almost caught up. Holy cow, we were caught up on the chat. Dang, it took a while, but I'm glad we did it. Cash Money, they blocked your card. Your card got blocked for the super chats. I think you've done enough, my man. I hate how YouTube does that. I think YouTube, the banks are like, really, you're donating to YouTube? Like, what is happening? But yeah, of course you are, and I appreciate it, man. So I hate that it happened for you, but they're still up there. Still two $50 ones. It's unbelievable, and really, really appreciate that. So take a rest, my man. I appreciate you so much. In New Mexico, Noah, another super chat. Thank you. I want to get to yours 1 second. I want to hit. Let's see here. Michael says get rid of the coaches poll. I agree with that. It's a pointless poll. It means nothing. So just go ahead and get rid of it. And Lil Figs. I will speak on Arkansas. Yes, if you're still here, I will speak on Arkansas. And let me talk on New Mexico Noah first. New Mexico State beats UTEP in the Battle of I-10 this Saturday. Go Aggies. I love getting people on the stream, guys, that are for two things. First off, that are students, right? That are people that are already in college at a certain program, right? Comic Dude, I know, and Will. It's been a while since we've had Will on here, but they were both at Rutgers at one point, and I love that because you've got guys that are immersed in that culture, going to the games in person. I love that. We got New Mexico Noah, who's a New Mexico State fan. Love that. Jerry Kill, head coach of the Aggies now. Obviously did not do too hot against his former team in Minnesota this last week, but that wasn't to be expected. But we've seen more fight out of the Aggies. We saw that in week 0 against Nevada. Certainly going to see more of that going down the road. UTEP has not had the start of the year that they wanted. And really that we kind of expected. So, yeah, I'm not ruling that out that New Mexico State can beat UTEP. We'll do a little more digging on that. And Noah, if you come back tomorrow, or Thursday morning, I don't know, maybe when you have class or whatever, but We'll be here at 8 a.m. Thursday morning. We'll actually talk about I-10 just for you in that super chat. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Once again, guys, just another testament. Doesn't matter how much it is, how much you donate. Every bit matters, helps, goes a long way. And Noah, we appreciate you. Appreciate you being on the team and appreciate that super chat. And Dave, hey, no worries. I know. I don't know why they do that to y'all's cards. It's frustrating. But no worries. You did a lot tonight too, and I really, really appreciate you. All right. Little Figs. I told you I'd talk about Arkansas real quick as we slowly but surely start to wrap up the chat tonight, going about an hour and a half, which is typically over our limit. But you know what? That's okay when we got such a great conversation going. Arkansas, real quick. They're good, man. They're a good team. A lot of people don't want to give respect to Arkansas. You go back to the AP poll again, sitting here at 16th. They're sitting here at 16th right now. 19th last week, so they moved up 3 spots. We have them at 15th, so I can't be too upset with where they're at. I believe, personally, they were a top 15 team to start the year. The Razorbacks have all the pieces necessary to make a dark horse run in the SEC this year. And a lot of talk. I'm actually in Arkansas. There's a lot of talk. And holy cow, we're going to give a pause on that. Max Todd, what's going on, man? I appreciate you. Welcome to the team, man. Welcome to the team. You are part of not just the GE Nation, man, but you're part of the family here on the channel. So we look forward to having you every time. We look forward to having you maybe in the Discord, but if not, we look forward to having you on the chats and the comments of the videos. Again, Max, we've got nonstop content for you. I've got my calendar over here. We've got, including the live stream, 3 videos tomorrow. We've got 2 videos on Thursday, plus another live stream in the morning. Got 1 video on Friday. We typically take Saturdays off from videos just so we can watch the games like you. Back to it on Sundays. So welcome to the team, man. We are super excited to have you. Super glad you're able to find us. And you're not just part of the team, man. You're part of the GE family from here on out. From now till the end, man. So thank you again for that donation. Thank you for the super chat. And we can't wait to get going with you. Can't wait to get it going. Back to Little Figs, man. I want to talk on Arkansas. This team's loaded, man, and there's a lot of talk. I'm in Arkansas. I'm located in Arkansas. Around the state, a lot of people hyping up this Alabama game on October 1st. There's talk around the state about how this game against Alabama could be the biggest game in Razorback football history. That's saying something, considering back in 1969, there was the game of the century. Number 1, Texas. Number 2, Arkansas. National championship game. President Rick Nixon was in Fayetteville, Arkansas for that game. That's saying something, considering a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago, God, I'm getting old. 10 years ago, Arkansas and LSU, number 1 and number 3. Winner practically goes to the national championship. I mean, there have been big games in Razorback history, but there's a different sense of excitement around the program now because of how good KJ Jefferson is playing, one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. He brings an extra element to this Razorbacks offense, and what Kendall Briles runs is very dangerous and very special. Dave, he knows about it. Dave's team, all the way up on the East Coast, he's an Arkansas fan too. He's a big-time Arky fan, and we love having him here. Woo pig, baby. But, this team, what Sam Pittman has done in less than 3 years is pretty surreal. You took a team that won 8 games between 2017 and 2019. 4 with Brett Bielema on his last year, and 4 total in the 2 years under Chad Morris. 8 games, and Pittman had that surpassed less than halfway through last season. Won 3 games in that COVID year, ended the miserable SEC losing streak, and then last year won 9 games. So so far, he's 1-0 this year. He's won 13 games. 13 games in less than 3 years, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you go through the misery that Arkansas has been through, it is a lot. It's very impressive. The biggest issue for Arkansas right now, if Little Figs is even still here, is the fact that their secondary is a little bit sketchy, right? I think the offense is going to be fine. Receivers are great. Running back core is great. Quarterback, obviously, KJ is great. But the offense should be fine. Can hang, I think, with some of the best, which is why I think a lot of people think they can hang with Alabama. The defense is the biggest question mark. Drew Sanders, huge addition at linebacker alongside Bumper Poole, one of the best linebacking duos in the SEC. But what about the secondary? If Jalen Catalon, the star safety, can't stay healthy, Arkansas is going to be in trouble. He's the leader. He's the anchor of that defense. And he, again, got hurt again against Cincinnati, but we don't know how serious this thing can be. Dwight McGlothern obviously was a great addition from LSU. Had a pick that ended a promising Cincinnati drive at the beginning of the game on Saturday. So that was huge. Bottom line is, Arkansas is the real deal. And I think by week 4, when they take on Texas A&M in Dallas, they should be 3-0. They should beat South Carolina. They should beat Missouri State. Hopefully A&M is undefeated. That is going to be a potential top 10 showdown, top 12 showdown between Texas A&M and Arkansas. If the Razorbacks win that, Arkansas will be a top 10 team taking on possibly the number 1 team in the country in Alabama in Fayetteville on October 1st, and it will be arguably the biggest game in Razorback history. And if Arkansas wins that, keep in mind they only lost to Alabama by 7 in Tuscaloosa last year, only by 7 in Tuscaloosa. If they beat Alabama, all bets are off. Wild band of Razorbacks are running towards a potential playoff berth. No one saw that coming. We might be getting a little ahead of ourselves. They got to beat Carolina. They got to beat Texas A&M. Got to beat Alabama. But the Razorbacks are good enough that it can happen. Again, there's excitement around this program that hasn't been there in over a decade. Pittman's brought them back, and they are good. Matthew, my man, Matthew Hazelhorse. Man, I'm so pumped to have you here. Obviously, Matthew has been joining the streams lately, and really appreciate you in that super chat. Again, every single super chat goes a long, long way. So thank you so much, man. He says, can't wait to roll Missouri this weekend. Go Cats. Kansas State, man. He's a Kansas State guy. And I'll be with you, Matthew. I think y'all are going to roll Missouri personally. My man Eddie, no offense. But Adrian Martinez, the dual threat capability, Deuce Vaughn. Look, one thing I will say is Missouri's secondary was really, really bad last week against Louisiana Tech. Yes, I know they had a couple pick sixes or whatever, but they still allowed over 300 yards passing to the Bulldogs. If Adrian Martinez can shore up his passing game, factoring in with the RPO, with a lot of the running games they're going to be doing, it's a shoe-in for Kansas State. Missouri's defense, I still think is up to par yet. It's in Manhattan, early morning. Beautiful stadium, especially when that sunshine out there. I know, Matthew, you and I talked about that. I was there a couple years ago. And I'm really, really excited. So, yeah, go Cats, right? I mean, I don't have a dog in that fight, right? I'm not a Missouri fan. I'm not a Kansas State fan. I have nothing against either team. But if I'm picking a team, it's going to be Kansas State. I think they're going to do very, very well. So, again, Matthew, thanks for being here. Thanks for all your support. Thank you for the super chat. Again, major shout out to my man Max for joining the team. And that super chat, that goes a long way. Last few questions here I want to take here. New Mexico Noah said, my contribution for my grad student salary. I love it. Hey, again, every bit counts. I appreciate you, Noah. And again, we'll talk about the I-10 rivalry here in a couple days for sure. Let's see. Let's see here. My opinion on the UTSA Army game, Stephen. Going to be a great game. Going to be a great game. Obviously, Army lost a close one to Coastal Carolina. UTSA lost a close one to Houston. Obviously, it kind of is unfortunate that both these teams have high expectations entering the year, and one of them is going to start 0-2. Just the way it is, unfortunately. One of them is going to start 0-2 to start the year. But we've talked about it on the chat. We talked about that in the Discord, that there was a good chance that UTSA, with all the hype, could start 0-3. They lost to Houston, could lose to Army, which I believe they will. I'm high on the Army train. And then next week, UTSA plays Texas in Austin. Probably going to be a loss. So 0-3 doesn't look good. But again, as with many of these Group of 5 programs, it's like, man, we're going to start 0-3, 1-4. The non-conference slate is so tough because a lot of these Group of 5 teams do get beat up on by some of the better Power 5 programs. They pay them a couple $1 million, come play them, get beat, move on. But it's the conference games that obviously matter, right? It's the conference games where they do the damage. And when you look at UTSA, or the rest of the Conference USA, they're probably going to run the table in the conference, maybe lose one conference game. So despite maybe starting 0-3, they'll probably still find themselves in the Conference USA championship game. So not going to be in a position to win 12 games that they did last year, but still going to be just fine. Same for Army. Schedule lightens up a little bit. Obviously, they're not in a conference, but with the game being at West Point, Mikey Stadium, I like the Black Knights to win that game over the Roadrunners. Battle between Frank Harris and his passing attack. Army, obviously their rushing attack. And while UTSA did well stopping the Houston rush game, Army's a completely different breed. So give me the Black Knights on Saturday. My man Jordan, big W for Rutgers. Do you think a bowl game is possible for them? I do now. I had Rutgers at, I think, 4-8 on the season. Thought they'd have to be 1 year away from making a bowl game. But one of those wins I projected was not against Boston College. So now you up it to 5, technically, based on our predictions, if our predictions are all turn out right. Which means I see one more little upset win. Who could that come against? Maybe it's against Nebraska. Nebraska has not looked good. Got beat by Northwestern, struggled against North Dakota, probably going to lose to Oklahoma. Nebraska's going to be reeling, and they play in Piscataway on a Friday night. So, yeah, a bowl game is very possible for Rutgers. They do need a consistent quarterback. I think alternating QBs is going to be an issue for the whole season. I don't think you can do that and be successful. But it worked against Boston College. Defense is stingy. So, yes, a bowl game is very possible, and that would be a major milestone and unbelievable coaching job by Greg Schiano if he can pull that off in just his third year back in Piscataway. All right, what else we got here? Last few before we call it a night. Let's see. Hey, Matt Robbins is on the chat. I love it. What's going on, Matt? Thought I gave you a shout. I know you weren't going to show up till later. I think maybe got a shout out earlier in the stream. But any surprise that Wisconsin dropped a spot? And big time Packers fan, Matt is. I'm repping some green for you, Matt. Go Pack Go on Sunday. With the Packers taking on the Vikings. We'll talk a little bit about NFL on Thursday morning, guys. Thursday morning, start of the NFL season with the Bills and Rams on Thursday night. So we'll talk some about that soon. But Matt, am I surprised Wisconsin dropped a spot? We'll bring up the AP poll one last time here. Not entirely. Obviously unfortunate that they did. Going from 18th to 19th. But you look at the unfortunate thing for teams like Wisconsin, Matt. You look at this. Based on the AP poll, which we strongly disagree with. A team like NC State was 13th, right? And dropped 5 spots because of their narrow victory over ECU. So, in doing so, that dropped Wisconsin a spot. So even though Wisconsin won and took care of business, and you could say the same for NC State, because of NC State's poor performance, it actually knocked Wisconsin down a spot because no team behind Wisconsin was going to jump them besides Florida, and that's another story for another time. We've already touched on that. No team was going to jump them. Pittsburgh really stayed about the same. Arkansas moved up some. Someone could say they were surprised that Pittsburgh dropped a spot, that Pittsburgh was jumped by Arkansas. Pittsburgh failed to really do well against West Virginia. Won the game, but didn't look good in doing so. Not horribly surprised. Wisconsin should move up a spot or two, really regaining that spot if they beat Washington State on Saturday, which I know you and I have talked, and we believe that they will. Guys, stop Cameron Ward, but that defense, I think, can definitely do it. So it's just one of those things that sometimes you get punished for doing your job because another team did their job but didn't do it well enough, or they lost. Just plain and simple. Sometimes teams, they push them back because they lost and then push the team down like Wisconsin, who didn't really play anybody. So it'll work itself out. Wisconsin's got some big games coming up. Washington State win. Considering Pittsburgh could lose. Considering Arkansas, not going to be an easy game, could lose. Florida could lose. There's teams ahead of them that could easily lose, and Wisconsin could regain that spot pretty quick. So I would have been more upset if Wisconsin had dropped 2 or 3 spots. 1 spot, not too concerned yet. Let's see here. But Matt, super glad to have you, man. Super glad to have you, as always. Appreciate you and all your support. All right. Last few questions here. B-Dub. Like B-Dubs. Better question. Is 12-0 reasonable for BYU being favored versus Baylor and Oregon? Big game was no name. So it's basically he's undefeated in the cards for BYU. Is that possible? It's possible. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But it's not. And look, BYU's a good team. They're very, very talented. Very talented. I love their offense. I love Jaren Hall. I love what Kalani Sitake is doing. A couple of years ago, we said Sitake's on the hot seat. What's he going to do? And guess what? Look what he did. He's won 21 games in the last 2 years. Has made BYU a really kind of a team to be feared, not just your average 7-8 win team, a team to be feared right before they transition to the Big 12, which gives them even better opportunities. So again, I don't think BYU goes undefeated. The schedule simply is too tough. Vegas against Notre Dame, a true road game against Oregon. Baylor by no means going to be an easy one. They're only, BYU only about 3.5 point favorite in that game, but love the team. Very, very talented, no doubt about it. Dave says he's got Oklahoma State with the over, North Carolina with the over. He's taking Texas Tech 2.5, taking the over with Mississippi State and Arizona. I assume Mississippi State and Arizona. And he was helping out Steven on some picks there. I like it. Ben Wyndham, any thoughts on USF? Look terrible against BYU. Could very well be 1-5 to start the year. That's just because the schedule's tough, man. USF is getting there under Jeff Scott. I think the offense will be well with Gary Bohannon. I think Bohannon's going to do fine transferring him from Baylor. The defense is the biggest area of concern. I wouldn't put too much stock into the BYU game because South Florida didn't really have much of a chance in that game to begin with. But how they fare in AAC play, my man Destry Sparks on Twitter, I know he doesn't show up to the streams too often, but on Twitter he was talking about how they could start slow against their non-conference, but the AAC is when they could start making an impact. Probably not in the cards for a bowl game, but more competitive than they've been in years past. And I think that's how we'll wrap up the night. I want to wrap it up with on a positive note there from Max Todd. Again, our newcomer, newest member to the GE Nation, newest member to the team. Someone asked him, I think it was Robert, he goes, "How do you like it?" And he said, "I love it." He goes, "It's been great. He's been to other channels. All they do is fight with each other. This is definitely different." And that is how we will leave things off tonight, because that is exactly what we're building here, guys. What we like to do with the Gridiron Expert Max and for everybody here is we want to debate, because that's the beauty of college football, right? We want to debate college football. We want to debate the teams. We want to debate the rankings. But the beauty of the debate and the beauty of the discussion is that it's civil here, right? We're civil in our chat. We're civil with our guests when we have them on. We're civil with you. If we're addressing you, if we don't agree with your take or we don't agree with your team or whatever, we're going to come here and we're going to talk, right? We're going to talk it out, and we're going to, it's one of those things where I'm going to hear your side, you're going to hear my side, and at the end of the day, we still might not agree, but guess what? It can all be settled out on the gridiron every Saturday, right? So we're not here to fight. We're not here to complain. We're just here to have a good old time, right? And talk ball. That's all we want to do. Just talk ball and build a community. And that's exactly what we're doing. And Max, we're ecstatic that you're a part of it, just like we are ecstatic with every single one of you. So having said that, guys, I want to thank you all for another incredible live stream. Typically we hop on here and, we're like, maybe an hour. And the last couple times it's been 2 hours. So we're really excited about that. Want to give a big shout out again, last one, to Max. Again, welcome back to the team. Welcome to the team, Robert Sharpton, Dave, and Cash Money. Thank you both so much for an unbelievable night. We can't thank you enough for your support. Same goes for Matthew, Mr. Hazelhorse, man. We appreciate you. As you said, go Wildcats. Looking forward to talking about that later on this week. Stephen Cuffey, Scotty B, our guy DM, Matt Robbins, all of you guys, cannot thank you enough for all of your support tonight. Noah from New Mexico State. How about that? We're going to talk about the I-10 rivalry later in the week. We're super pumped about that. Hunter, 5657, who will forever be the first ever caller here at the Gridiron Expert. Hopefully here soon we'll get those calls back up so we can actually get you guys on the phone. The chat works great, but we'd love to get to hear your voice and actually have a longer discussion. So hopefully we'll get that up here relatively soon. But we want to thank you guys all again for a phenomenal night. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. for another live stream. But in between then, we're going to have 2 videos posted to the channel. So stay tuned for those. Stay tuned for the expert picks. If you have subscribed to those come out tomorrow around noon every single Wednesday. And again, guys, we will see you back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for another awesome Gridiron Expert live stream. God bless you all. As Dave says, amen from